Well, hello, my Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. Welcome to your Mercury Retrograde reading for February into March. I am your reader, Markangelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and really happy to be reading for you tonight. This is my last reading for the evening. Had a client, had another client, but still on schedule. So very, very happy about that. You know what I mean, don't you, my hunters? If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. I'm making my way to 1,000 subscribers so that I can do super live chat and drunk tarot, and there's a link in the description box explaining what drunk tarot is, because I'm the fun one. Which one is he on YouTube? He's the fun one. The gay 51, will be 52 years old this year, gay witch. Great fun. Dionysian archetype, let's play. But before we do, a couple of things. Number one, it's a general read. You can't read all of the people all the time. There are some people that follow me that I seem to nail every single time, but all the people all the time, no. Not probable, not possible. So please do check your other signs to get percentages of clarity, right? Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. And by the way, this is a Mercury retrograde read, which is kind of rare. It only happens 3 times a year, so get your goods where you can. Get your good inspiration, your clarity where you can, because this particular reading is geared towards seeing this Mercury retrograde as happening for you, not to you, right? Something that's actually 100% of your benefit, but on a soul level. So how to play along, how to sort of enjoy the ride, because I think there's a lot of self-induced suffering around Mercury retrograde, that it's just all horrible 24/7, well, for 3 weeks, right? We're getting 3 weeks of it. I think 3 weeks in a day, like 22 days, I think this one is. By the way, from February 16th to March 9th, and March 9th is also the full moon in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. So there's something there. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I could feel it when I started looking at the astrology for it. So this could be a pivotal one, but then again, every day is pivotal because every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer. Cool. The spread that I'm going to be using is actually really cool. It's the element spread. I've used it before. We're going to get 5 Daughters of the Moon Tarot to represent the voices of the gods and goddesses, divine masculine, divine feminine, all that, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. We will clarify with 5 cards from the Healing with the Angels Oracle, obviously, the voices of the angels, giving us 10 to start with. From the Ascended Masters, we will be hearing from through the Chuck Spezzano's Love Pack, just one keynote to keep an eye on for Mercury retrograde, one from the Higher Self speaking through the Whispers of Love Oracle, again, some piece of guidance or grace to help you through, and of course, because they're my new favorites, we're gonna end with a healing mantra deck card by Matt Kahn to give you a mantra, right? Because Mercury is element of air. Hermes, there he is. I moved him from the middle shelf to be closer to me, so he has my ear. These are his earrings, the twin pentacle earrings, because he sits in the throne of Gemini for me. Cool. Is that about it? Oh yeah, please remember to breathe. Now, to let you know, I've been doing this for the past couple of readings. We're going from Pisces to Aries this time around. I studied with a Sufi master briefly back in the 90s, and he taught me 4 different element-based breaths, right? Because there are 4 elements: fire, earth, air, water. Spirit technically is from whence all comes. Yes, an element unto itself. Not in this case, though. And there are 4 different ways, breathing patterns: in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the mouth. You sort of get it. So this is the last one, which is fire breath. You can watch the previous ones if you want to know what the other ones are, or go watch Meditate with Mal. I think it's in the intro on YouTube, but there's actually up on my Vimeo page. There's 9 of the classes that I used to do in Sayville up on, Vimeo.com. Meditate with Mark, that's called. But the one for fire is in through the mouth, out through the nose, which if you think like a dragon, right, like shooting smoke, fire out its nostrils, it's like this. So I'm going to be focusing on my breath consciously. I like that. That felt good. To keep me in the present moment, to keep me in the flow, because the energy does get high, and I tend to get very staccato, very, very fast like that when I read. So it slows me down a little bit. The energy flows. And if you are doing the same, being consciously aware of your breath, practicing fire breath in this case, if you so choose, you'll be tuning to the still point where the divine resides, from whence this reading comes, right? So you'll be tuning to it in a whole different way. Cool, cool, rock and roll. I think I got everything covered. Let's dive. Nice, deep breath. Still point. Oh, my gods and goddesses, please. Top 5 cards, element spread for this Sagittarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Mercury retrograde, February 2020 to March 2020, please. Top 5 cards. What do they need to retro on? Do they need to review? Do they need to rethink in terms of their fire, what they desire? What do they need to review, rethink? Re-choose, perhaps, in terms of their element of earth, what they have, where they are, what they've got, what do they have to reevaluate? Very good word, perhaps. Element of air, what do they need to rethink? What do they need to reanalyze, reassess in the mental belief field? In the element of water, what emotions have to be revisited, re-embraced, felt, embraced, expressed, perhaps. And spirit, what is the point of view, the highest point of view available to this Sagittarian collective? Sun, Moon, Rising. Mercury sign. This Mercury retrograde. February 2020 to March 2020. Maiden Mother Crone, Maiden Mother Crone. That went from really fast and fiery to really smooth and gentle all at once. So let's have a look. Considering my eyes were closed for all of that pretty much. Element of fire. This Mercury retrograde, what's it a good idea for you to think about your choices, your decisions, your passions, what you want? A completion, not just an ending. The last card of the major arcana, the card of the world or the universe in this deck, Shakti, the life dancer. And a little hard to see, but she's sort of dancing between two universes there, right? Between that break at midnight. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's that boop, right over from the line from one into the other. So the completion of a full day, of a full cycle. So something that you want, something that you're choosing, deciding for, have an intention about. Now remember, we're going to clarify these with the angel cards once I get these 5 out. Element of earth, usually the fuel that feeds the fire, that helps you get what you want, what you have helping or hindering. In this case, it's like reevaluating your element of earth, what it is that you have. Well, we've got another card of completion, but this is the emotional cycle of completion, 10 of Cups, Inanna's House of Heaven. So if you are flying high right now emotionally, your cups are overflowing, great, then this seems like the natural conclusion, right? That there is going to be a new beginning, starting with the card of the Fool. In this deck, it is the Dreamer, not called the Fool, but the same idea, the Zero, the Magician. In this deck, the Witch would be card number 1, and around the cycle again we go. So it would go with the 10 of Cups, turning back into the Ace of Cups as a 1 and a 0 and a 10, make a 1, an Ace. So with the completion of cycles here, that perhaps in this Mercury retrograde, really look at the larger life phase, life place that you're in, as at the end of one cycle and beginning of the other in a more major arcana way, perhaps even spiritual growth, spiritual path kind of way, if that's really what it is that you're wanting here, or at least to kind of revisit that. Another, any of the re's work with retrogrades for me, as well as really evaluate emotionally your fulfillment, your 10 of Cups, as it were. The boys are fighting upstairs. They do. Getting close to their dinner time. Gonna have to feed them when I'm done with this, but you're my last reading. They'll live. They've been snacking all day long. Let's see, your element of air. Particularly important, Mercury is an air planet, right? Hermes, messenger of the gods. So what is it that we need to kind of rethink here, my Sagittarians? And it's another major arcana card, but it's the card of the Trickster. Half of the devil card in this deck. The Trickster is about self-sabotage, partly, but it's also how the universe plays tricks on us so that we learn, heal, grow, and become the best that we can be. So sometimes it's about how we want to see things. Do we want to see ourselves as being sabotaged, or do we want to see ourselves as being guided through a shamanic trick, right? Every pantheon and every pagan experience that I've seen has some sort of deity that's a trickster god, right? God or goddess. The tricksters are universal because they represent those things in life that appear one way that are really the other. Like, for example, my favorite coyote archetype, Wile E. Coyote, super genius, right? Well, you know, all the thinking in the world still bites him in the ass, still going after that bird. Now, I would feel more hostile towards him, but he's probably fucking hungry. I mean, the bird is food. Just saying. It's a cartoon. People take it down a notch, right? So this thing of the trickster, is there a mind? Maybe you need to retrograde and look at, what have I been thinking? Have I been thinking something that isn't true? Have I been tricked? Have I been tricking myself? Which sometimes you don't see until you stop and look back, right? It's a good thing, retrograde, to pull back and see what tricks your mind has been playing on you. And don't get too upset when you find them, because we all have them. What are the spells that we're under? I mean, I grew up with really ones that sound so archaic and stupid now, right? Like, big boys don't cry. Well, yeah, that got us a whole generation after generation after generation of emotional invalids, right? So, you know, certain things that are brought up with us, little tricks that were played on us societally that we may still believe are true. So take a look. Except they're saying that this is major arcana. It's probably not something minor. Well, that's not. The big boys don't cry isn't minor. But like I said, that's almost a cliche now at this point. Where here, this might be something a little bit more sabotorial. Something either you picked up or something that is reinforcing itself in your mind, in your belief system, that is like a chain around your neck that you could perhaps slip away from, like in the Devil card in the Rider-Waite, if you look. The original, Rider-Waite. They got the loopy chains. You could just do that. Some sabotorial thought pattern needs to be addressed, looked at, embraced and healed, and released and sent back from whence it came, completely transmuted. Let's look at the emotional part, because if that's going on in the air, the water has to be affected in some way. Interestingly enough, here in water, you've got the Four of Pentacles, stability. Now, an Earth card, stability, right? That thing of security. This could certainly indicate emotional security or emotions feeling secure in the physical body. Let's keep clear. Your Earth position, that's funny. You've got Earth and water and Earth. You have that ecstasy card. So you might be kind of really enjoying yourself emotionally at this wanting something to complete. Like, this could be a graduation of some kind, if not literal, then symbolic life level sort of graduation. But this coyote concerns me. So we are going to, of course, go deeper into that with the other deck. Let me get this, because this is also saying emotionally, it's like, no, I'm good in my own skin. So you might really be ready, safe to kind of look at what this is during this retrograde. Just feeling good otherwise. And because these are the only two major arcana on the table, they may be connected to saying that it's time. It's the end of this cycle of mental self-sabotage, which is a good way to read it. I gotta say, at least therapeutically feels really good. What's the spirit point of view? Like, what's the lens that you could step back and look at this through? Through your third, 3 out of 5 major arcana cards. Big deal here at the High Priestess. To go with the intuition, to go with your spirituality, to go with the divine, to let go and let God, to see it from everything here, even my own sabotorial patterns of thought and belief and fears and all of that stuff couldn't have happened any other way. They were written into the character that I was chosen to incarnate as in this life. My soul was given this body and this name and this script to live out. I haven't done anything wrong. It's all been part of a mysterious plan that the divines are working through me. Notice I said divines, D-I-V-I-N-E-S. Yeah, there is ultimately the one divine singularity, the supreme being, but there are so many different manifestations, including me and you, right? Very, very cool. So look, the gods are having their way with you, so you might as well. What is a priest or a priestess? A vehicle through which the divine works, but often through mysteries and secrets, and of course, a deep connection there with the lunar connection to the card of the high priestess of the intuition and the subconscious. So, you know, I get the emotional part of this. You have 3 major arcana cards, 10 of cups, and a 4 of pentacles, but one with a well in it, right? Like the well that does not run dry, hence that sense of support. That's just really lovely. Let's ask the angels. Nice deep breath. Do you remember the breath? I like that. One more. Still point. My angels. Please, 5 cards, top 5 cards, element spread. Please clarify, my angels, what the gods have placed on here for this Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign during this Mercury retrograde, February 2022, March 2020. What do they need to review, to reevaluate, to rethink, to refeel, to reset, to redo? To relieve, to refresh. Tell me when. For this Sagittarian, gotcha, collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign, February to March 2020, Maiden, Mother, Crone, Maiden, Mother, Crone. Ooh, that feels good. Let's look. Start with Shakti the Life Dancer, what it is that you want, that like massive leveling up. Oh, that's a good way to say it. Leveling up, right? You completed a level, ready for the next level. Of Soulmate. Now, there isn't a twin flame card in this deck, so I'm going to call this soul contract, right? That you really want the end of a particular soul contract, right? For it to at least perhaps level up. And of course, retrograde is a good time to kind of go over stuff, right? Before leveling up, that pause before it actually completing all, because this is what you want, not necessarily where you are. Though emotionally, another way to interpret this card with the 10 of Cups might not be through the joyful side of it, but through the, oh, I'm so fucking over this already, right? So that's going to play itself out differently in the collective. That 10 of Cups, we will see what falls with that. But certainly the completion, perhaps the happy completion of a soul contract. Remember, even if it is soulmate, that's not automatically romantic sexual, and there's nothing overtly romantic sexual here. Yes, 10 of Cups, Inanna's House of Heaven, they're all in like the ecstatic hot tub 10 of Cups here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's romantic sexual. Whatever the soul contract is, twin flame or soulmate, wanting some resolution there, want some resolve, other words to resolve. Okay, what do the angels say about our lovely 10 of Cups hot tub party here? See, divine timing. So what you have on your side, if you're not feeling this 10 of Cups yet, meaning it's in the element of earth, it's in your energy field. The potential for it is certainly there, at least in terms of physical circumstances, right, situations, but there's a divine timing thing. The other aspect to that they just said to me is that it's time. It's time to feel this. It's okay to feel this. It's safe to feel this. Embrace it. Let the emotion move through you. You have this now. This can help you, but perhaps you want to take this emotion into consideration in terms of your security. Right? You're getting a window of opportunity, a divine timing thing to really, really feel the sense of emotional completion regardless of what's playing itself out. That takes a great deal of security rather than insecurity to do. To just be like, you know, no matter what happens, I'm feeling this is worth it, instead of the FOMO, right? The fear of missing out and trying to hold on to the feeling because that's the easiest way to make it disappear. That's the paradox of emotion that way. It's like trying to grab water. It just goes right through your fingers. Let's really look. Like I said, this is the one that concerns me. Usually in every spread, there's one card that kind of concerns me. Of course, any derivation of the devil card, because that can be addiction, right? These are the chains that bind. There's the other half of the devil card in this deck is oppression, which kind of speaks more to the addictive part of it, I think. Something that oppresses you that way, where this is more about the trick. And really, they're saying even in retrograde, in retrospect, you can look back at things that perhaps were sabotorial, but they were decisions that you made that taught you how to empower yourself. The saboteur archetype is a survival archetype everybody has. The survival family, the child, the victim, the saboteur, the prostitute, everybody has those. The saboteur in particular, here depicted as the coyote, is definitely about decisions of empowerment or disempowerment, because even if you sabotage somebody else, you are disempowering them. Allow someone to disempower you, which is disempowering yourself. You see major places in life, particularly looking at this with a soul contract in place, tricky shit. So my angels, I didn't look yet. What do you got to say about this? Girl. Witch. Listening, pay attention. Listen to the sabotorial voice. Now, not listen to and obey the sabotorial voice, but listen for it. What is the voice that's undercutting? What is the voice of fear? What is the voice of lack or fear of lack? That's going to give you an opportunity of where there is, I don't want to say a weakness, but no, it's not a weakness. It's a voice that needs more love, not less, because if it doesn't get your attention and your love, like a spoiled child or a wounded child or an abandoned child, it will act out in your weakest moments. You need to listen and know that your prayers are being heard. Know that your calls for help are being heard, but are you listening to the empowering voices that are not just coming from inside or in the spirit realm, intuition and all of that? Because certainly with the High Priestess here, there is that higher power working with you, but also reflected around you from the people who care, which I hear very loud and clear. They are there, but you might not be listening to the empowering voices and the support of what is already there for you, even if it's purely through the synchronistic happenings of the divine all around you. Look for them. They are there. Listen. Pay attention. Okay, because again, whatever this sabotorial mind thing is, in your emotions, you've got security. So if your physical world is stable enough, I get that. That would be the Four of Pentacles. It's like, no, there's money in the bank. Things are good. I'm feeling stable, feeling secure. And this divine timing part of the emotional overflow, the ecstatic, joyful quality of that, absolutely delightful and delicious and lovely. What do the angels want to bring to that? You are secure in your power. Now, this says to me that a perfect time to really deal with. It's almost like with the three major arcana cards here, that this seems to be your issue. This seems to be the thing that you really need to look at, and it is mental in nature, massages. So really do turn to your fire then. This is a completion. Get that, and get that completion is of some kind of soulmate contract, perhaps something transforming in you, element of fire, Sagittarius, that transforms everything else, because your own sense of security now holds great power. So if you're not feeling that, know that it is time to. That was a fucking mouthful. One more for this High Priestess. My angels, please. Ooh, focus. Focus on your intuition. Focus on your spirituality. Focus on pulling back. Remember, the High Priestess is the most beautiful woman in the world that no man can have. No one can have her because the gods have her, right? Take time. Step back. Go into not just prayer, meditation. Go into the silence if you can. Focus. Focus what? it's saying that from this place of getting, okay, there's a divine plan unfolding. All I have to do is play my role. The divine is guiding me. I'm going to look at this differently. Things are completing in some or maybe one or two of my my soulmate contracts. Feeling good. The emotions there. The guidance is here, but there's something in the mental field. God, Goddess, all that is, my angels, my saints, my masters, my higher selves. Let's focus. Let's focus. How am I sabotaging myself? What are the decisions that I'm afraid to make because they will empower me and everything around me will change and may even end, or at least complete, some of my soul contracts? What are you afraid of? Really, that's another one of those questions. What is the choice you know, or the decision of either something you know you have to begin or end, that scares you, that takes you out of your comfort zone? That's usually where the soul and therefore the universe is directing you to go. Just how it is. I didn't make it that way. So let's get you a Chuck Spezzano Love Pack card. 4 suits in this puppy. The problem, the suit of luck, the suit of healing, and the suit of grace. Let's see what the Ascended Masters get you. A nice fire breath. Still point. My Ascended Masters, please, 1 card in clarity for this Sagittarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Mercury Retrograde, February to March 2020. Please, 1 card, a keynote, a reminder, something that they need to readdress, relook at, review, rethink, refeel, reevaluate, re-advise. Please, 1 card for my Saggies. Thank you so much. Very quick. Yeah, joy. Joy. 10 cups. So there is a confirmation there that there is joy here for you, but this ups it a notch in the sense that with the card of divine timing, this is that joy that may not be what is it called? Object dependent. In other words, things have to be a certain way in order to enjoy yourself. No, and there is another card called enjoyment. This is not that. This is the grace suit, the suit of grace. This is the natural being, the joy that is the truth of who we are. There is something absolutely high vibrational spiritual going on, and I should expect that. I'm talking about Sagittarius, 9th house. Spirituality is really dominant there because it's about the expansion of consciousness. So through your focus, through seeing all of this through a spiritual focus, almost okay, I am a servant of the divine incarnate on this planet. It might seem a little grandiose, nonetheless true. Seeing it through that way might very well help you empower yourself and others, by the way, in ways that never have, and it's certainly time for it, by allowing the innate joy of who you are to be experienced. Literally, it's in your position of earth, wouldn't be there unless it was at least in potential and available to you. They wouldn't bring it up, and it's like, yeah, it's there, but you can't reach it, neener. No, you will. You can. And you've got the emotional security and powerful emotional security where you are. In other words, it would be safe for you to feel that kind of joy without fucking losing it. Because, you know, that kind of joy can make people crazy if they don't have the, well, let's say it can make people unbalanced if they don't have the scaffolding for it, the circuitry for it. Because it is divine joy. Yet the truth of who we are, our true nature, says something about humanity, don't it? Nice deep breath. We're going to ask the your higher self for a whisper of love. I love this oracle deck so much. Sometimes just tells you exactly what you need. Nice deep breath. Oh, still point. The ascended. No, the higher selves. Different channel. Ooh, the higher selves, please. 1 card in clarity. Feeling that fire. For this Sagittarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Mercury Retrograde, February to March. Ooh, 2020, waves of heat. Well, that's what the breath is supposed to do anyway. Please, the ascended it again, the higher selves of all concerned for this Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign. A keynote, a whisper of love for them this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020. It's hard getting that out. It went very spacey all of a sudden. Consider your foundation. You're being asked to look at how committed you are to love. That's a retrograde thing. That's what we're looking at. And by the way, they just gave me a different interpretation of this card. Who are you listening to? Your friends, your family, the well-meaning toxicity of others, right? Are you listening to your soul? Are you listening to your fear? Are you giving that inner child a voice? How committed are you to love? Love of self, love of others, because it seems like you have the power and the circuitry in place, at least for a divine time, to really experience joy in this retrograde of seeing things perhaps so radically different that you see perhaps you were tricking yourself all along when you listen to, come here, the High Priestess as you focus on your spirituality. That's what that says to me. Big lessons involved, but when better than during a retrograde to research, right? Like go back over, search again, research. Last card down from the Ascended Masters, your healing mantra card, Matt Kahn. One side of the card has the mantra, the other half the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in the bookie book. It's really quick, very helpful, and I found them very, very helpful, not just in the readings with my clients, but also in my own personal spiritual practice. So let's do this. Last card down, fire breath. Still point. My Ascended Masters, please. One card in clarity, the perfect healing mantra card for this Sagittarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign during this Mercury retrograde from February 2020 to March 2020, please. Considering all that is on the table here with angels, gods, goddesses, the Ascended Masters yourselves, and the higher selves of all involved, what is the ultimate perfect healing mantra to get this Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign through this Mercury retrograde in healing under grace and in perfect ways? You ready? Resolving anger. Well, you are a fire sign. Resolving anger. Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself, right? When you're feeling it, and it's like, I need to feel this in a way that is healthy, so I'm not inspired to do something I will regret, right? What are you listening to? What are you listening to, right? This could be the thing, the very thing this is talking about, that anger, right? Resolving anger. Because yes, the emotions are there and you're in this good feeling place. So, and the opportunity to listen to something and sabotage, self-sabotage, disempower yourself and or someone else. And considering we are all one, all sabotage is self-sabotage. What was this again? Sorry. Resolving anger. Let's have a look-see-dook-see in the booksy-wooksy. Sweet Georgia Brown. Resolving anger. Conflict reminds me when I need more time for myself. When anger is resolved, you are able to see your emotional reactions or the abrupt responses of others as evidence of profound transformation taking place. And I have to say that where you are right now, there is this divine timing of eruptions of emotion. Now, we've been categorizing this as a positive thing because that is the vibe that I feel you have, but this could be stuff going on around you as well. High emotions all the way around. When anger is present, it acts as a sign of needing more space to face the feelings that are ready to be healed, or to balance out patterns of doing with moments of silent being. And I think that's why this card of listening is here as well. So if you can see the anger, boy, if you can catch it as frustration, that's great. But you know, you do the best you can. You can catch that as like an alarm, like a smoke alarm, saying, okay, the fire is getting out of control. Let me pull back. I need to kind of let everybody be what they're being, but I need space, right? The conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself, like an alarm, right? Like a proximity alarm. With one of silent being. As you resolve anger, you are able to find the time you need to be both rested and productive. So this is possibly about your own balance too. You've got a lot of power, and I don't think you have any issues in terms of your emotional security of using that power, but know that your rest and being in balance is important, particularly when anger starts to resolve. Now look, your fire signs, I love my Sagittarians. Oh, my cats are starting to get all fussy because it's dinner time. Hey, baby. They start batting shit around. So, you know what? Let me take care of them real quick. Be right back. Sorry, when you have a Taurus cat, you either give them what you want or shit starts flying. So I know exactly where I left off right here. Resolving anger. There was just this last little bit. The last words that I read here, though, where did you go? As you resolve anger, you are able to find the time you need to be both rested and productive, right? So that the anger is a sign. It's like, okay, your nervous system is starting to get inflamed, right? Anger. Breathe, relax. It's telling you need time for yourself. This last bit is always helpful. This mantra is ideal for managing stress, Mercury retrograde, deepening interpersonal communication, and tempering frustration. Interesting, that card tempering having to do with the card of temperance, right? Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. So whether it's inner conflict, outer conflict, doesn't matter. When you feel that it's time to resolve that anger by backing up. Again, another retrograde thing. Back up, take care of self, review, refeel, breathe, because you are so strong in your own power, it seems, that you could perhaps blast Saggies, I love you, but you can shoot lightning, right? You are the archers. Out of your mouth can come truth that may not be so tempered. So, right, it could be like, right, just shoot someone right between the eyes or the third eye. But consider your foundation. You're being asked to look at how committed you are to love. Let's give you an overview, right? Magic clap. We start you off in your element of fire, Massages, your element, with the card of the world or the universe, Shakti, the life dancer, with soulmate. That what you're wanting is some sort of resolution and or leveling up in some form of one-on-one or perhaps tribal soul family contract. You're looking at that. You need to review that desire, because here in your position of earth, you have a water card, the 10 of Cups, Inanna's House of Heaven, ecstasy with divine timing. That there is certainly a surge of emotion here that I've really been feeling since that card hit the table. That it is a good feeling card, that it is ecstasy, that it is joyful, that it's at least a period that you're getting this in terms of divine timing. But that in the element of air, see, that's what makes me think, if you can resolve anger, going to that mantra card, if you can really listen to that, then this resolution, all right, resolving, with the Trickster in the listening position, in the position of air, see what I'm saying, the mental part of it, you might have this really wonderful opportunity to experience this joy, this ecstasy. Remember, we got this joy card over here from the Masters as well, because emotionally you've got this Four of Pentacles, this security, this physical stability that allows you great emotional power, that you have the capacity to feel perhaps great joy and great ecstasy, 10 of Cups, but also perhaps great anger as a result result of conflict. So what is the Spirit's point of view here? The message of the lens of how to see this is through the lens of the High Priestess. Yes, there may be mysteries, stuff you don't know here, but that to look at it from a divine point of view, that everything in this Mercury retrograde is happening for you. Now keep in mind, retrogrades are sort of famous for being frustrating and anger inducing, so really make it a bit of your focus, not to just try and make those emotions go away, but to resolve them, to get to the more natural state of joy and peace and ecstasy at your core. And how do you do that? By considering your foundation. How committed are you to love, to feeling that joy? And the mantra, conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. So when conflict arises, will you take the reminder and take the space, the more space that you need for yourself? And there we have it. My Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs may you be blessed. May the Sagittarian collective be blessed with all that they need. This Mercury retrograde, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs, that they may grow, that they may heal, that they may resolve what needs to be resolved, that they may resolve this trickster, that they may see through this spiritual focus, and of course resolving the anger, because they certainly have the power to do so by considering their foundation and touching into, through a divine timing element, that ecstasy and that joy that is our true state of being. May they be so blessed, and may we all be so blessed this Mercury retrograde for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Thank you for watching. My Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of this Mercury retrograde. Reach out if you need help, though. That's why I'm here. Spiritual counselor, reader, professional witch. Just drop me a line. My info's in the box below. And again, please do like and subscribe if you don't mind. I love you all so much. Wishing you the very best. It's hard to say. And the very blessed, as I wish you, as I always do. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.